will be recorded and will be made available to those especially who cannot make it this morning. All right, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so basically this morning I will share with you about Microsoft Teams. Yeah, but before that, let me just introduce a little bit about myself for those first timer. There are some people who have been with me before, I think, but just you know, to know where I'm coming from as far as remote learning is concerned. My name is Azma Abdul Hamid, and I am the founder and also the owner of a company called Content Capital, which was incorporated in 2003. And so that we've been in this industry for the last 17 years. And ever since its inception, Content Capital has always focused on the development and the consultation for e-learning. We have not done anything else other than e-learning, both the system development and also the content development for e-learning. Basically, we have focused more on the corporate industry or the corporate sector and also government agencies. We don't go to school. And we do some. We have done some consultation for IPT, but basically, I think our focus has always been on the adult learners. So mainly corporate sector and also the government agency. If you have heard of e-learning, e-pembelajaran sektor awam by JPA, which is owned by Intan or owned and managed by Intan. The system was developed by us since 2012. So we are still maintaining it. We have about 1.6 million public servant who have access to the system. And at the moment, they have, I think, 700,000 active users, especially lately, since March onwards. We have been seeing a lot of people coming online and using EPSA for their ongoing training, right? I am also my Content Capital is also the global training partner for Microsoft. Therefore, we are tasked to support any institution who wants to use Microsoft tools to do, especially in the academic sector, to do the teaching and learning. And that is why we are doing this today. All right. Other than that, because I am an educator myself, so I usually like to be involved in, partnering with university. So far, I think I am also actually an industry partner to UMT. Other than that, I'm also an industry partner to UUM and also University Malaya. Right. So basically, that's where I'm coming from. And I think because of my background, I'm actually very into seeing technology being used in a teaching and learning situation, both in schools and also in higher institutions. Right, I'm a very advocate lah in seeing technology to be exposed to our students so that they will become future ready. Okay, all right. Enough about me. Okay, so this is basically what I would like to cover today and tomorrow. All right. Today, I think we'll be focused on just looking at Office 365 and how do we get access to Microsoft Teams. I think since the April session, Microsoft Office 365 for UMT, I think it's already been deployed. I'm sure the IT department or the IT who is responsible for the IT usage in UMT has already gotten the help from Microsoft partners in setting up the account both for the lecturers and the students. I think that's what has happened. because I think when we did in April, we had a lot of problem because students were not able to access because the deployment was not fully done. So I think by now it should be there lah, right? And I think ready for it to be used both by the lecturers and the students. Okay. All right, so then the second thing that we're going to do today is how do we set up our class in Teams. We will see the difference between Microsoft Teams and also some of the other remote learning or the other, virtual learning platforms such as Zoom or WebEx or things like that. Because Teams is a little bit more complete as far as the things that we can do in it in teaching and learning process. All right, whereas apps like Zoom, it is easy to use. It's mainly because it's only a virtual meeting kind of thing. So there are things that you need to go and do somewhere else in order for you to support teaching and learning. All right. Then maybe tomorrow, I don't think we'll have time to do part 3 today. Tomorrow we'll look at how can we integrate other apps into Teams, so that you can make Microsoft Teams as one-stop center or a learning hub for you to do all your teaching and learning needs inside Teams itself. So you don't have to go in and log in and log out kind of things. Yeah. If you do have for example, if you have an LMS, you can actually not to say import, but integrate LMS into Teams, so that if you need while you are teaching on Teams, if you need to access your content in your LMS, you can just actually do that within Teams itself. Can click and go to your LMS. All right, so that's basically what we want to be able to achieve these next 2 days. All right, starting today. All right, so basically, all right, let's get going. The first thing that I will want to do is to introduce you to Office 365. So the first thing that you need to do is actually log into the Office 365 account. And how do you do that? It is to go to the Office 365 portal and log in with your UMT credential. In order for you to do that, the more efficient way is I have found that this is one of the tips that people will give you in order for you to log in easier into the portal, is for you to go and use the new in private window or the incognito window, depending on the browser that you are using, whether it is called in private window or incognito window. You are now looking at my Edge browser, Microsoft Edge. So if I click if you go all the way to the right hand side, next to your profile picture, there are 3 dots there. If you click that dot, the drop down window, you got the new in private window. You can use that. If you click it actually, right, and it will give you a black background window. This means that it is by itself, or it's like, in private kind of thing. Yeah. So this will reduce conflict, because the normal window that we use, usually we have logged in to so many accounts, and sometimes it is difficult to log in to a certain account because of conflicting password and also ID. So if you to do this is like something that is not recorded, therefore that everything you log in is new. All right. So this is one trick that you can actually use when you want to log in into accounts that you do not want to store the login information on the window itself. All right, so you can do that. If you are using Google Chrome, same thing. You can actually click the what do you call it? Let's see, Google Chrome. You can actually click the also at the end. All right, and here. Right, and here you at the end in Google Chrome, it is called new incognito window. Right, so this is not Chrome. Okay, because that is Chrome. So if you go to the end, all right, and you click these 3 dots at the end. Same thing, new tab, new window, new incognito window. The same thing. If you click the new incognito window, it'll give you that black background window that shows that it is private. Right. So from here, you need to log in into your Office 365 account. So I'm going to close. And keep that. So I'm going to use my Edge browser again. So if you go to Office 365, all right, and let's start Office 365. Okay, let's say, for example, if you go to Office 365, you will come to this landing page, and I'm already logged in. That's why I'm getting this thing. But let me. All right, you will need to log in into your using your credential. Let me use this one first. All right, let's see. I go to Office. Okay. All right. So if you go to Office 365 portal, just type in office.com. All right. It will bring you to this landing page. You need to sign in using your UMT credential. I have a guest account, so that later on when we do the demo, you can actually participate in my class. All right. So in order for you to be able to use Teams as an with your students, both you and your students will have to have the same account or account in the same domain. All right, and that's the reason why earlier I said that, you know, by now the whole UMT community should already have their credential for signing into Office 365. Students and also the lecturers and also other people in UMT, right? Because this is a campus-wide or university-wide account, so it should be able to be accessed by everybody, including the administrative staff. So here you will type your name, what do you call it? Your ID, which is usually UMT email based. Then next you will put in your what do you call your password. All right. Also, I think has already been generated for you. All right. I'm not going to do that here because I've already actually signed in into the account. Okay. So once you have done that, if you are doing it with me right now, once you have done that, you will get this landing page. All right. So it will bring you to this particular landing page. Okay. All right. It's a little bit slow. Okay. So as you can see, this particular Microsoft account that you have, it's called the A3 account. You have both the online version, which is what you have in front of you now, and you can also actually install the same thing, the entire Office 365 suite onto your laptop or onto your device. All right. And I think each account is allowed to download or to install Office 365 to 5 devices. So you can actually install it on your laptop, on your handphone. If you have 2 laptops or on your tablet, you know, you can have actually spread it out to as many devices that you have. And it can actually be synced. So when you update on one device, it can be synced to all the other devices that you have. All right. So that is the step of how to log in into Office 365 in order for you to get to Microsoft Teams. Okay. As you can see, these are all apps that will be available to you when you work within Teams itself. Right. So everything under the Microsoft banner is actually already embedded and integrated into Teams. So if you want to use PowerPoint in Teams, you do not need to come here. You can actually click within Teams and you will get access to PowerPoint and whatnot. All right. Any questions so far? This is the first step in getting into Teams. For those of you who are first timers, I think some of us here have already gone through the thing with me before. All right. So the first thing is to go to Microsoft Office.com and log in using your empty credential. Once you get to this page, then we are ready to go to the next step, which is you are going to click Microsoft Teams icon here in order for you to use Teams. All right. So once you are ready to click Teams, if you are doing again, if you are doing with me on this one, so you can actually click the Teams icon, and it will bring you to Microsoft Teams. All right, when it loads Microsoft Teams, you have actually two choices of apps that you can use. One is if you have already installed, if you have downloaded the apps onto your laptop, you can actually open it using the apps on your desktop. Or you can also, if you are a first timer logging in, they will ask you whether you want to use your desktop or you want to use the web app. You can also use the web app. The only difference between the two is when you use the browser version of Teams, some of the features will not be there. All right, so that very different, what do you call it, very small changes, as a very small difference, but there are some things you may not be able to do if you are using the web version as opposed to the desktop version. Okay, so all right, so once you log in, actually you will come to this page. All right, if you are a first time using Microsoft Teams, once you successfully log into Microsoft Teams, you will get these two tiles only. I have been using Teams a lot, so you can see a lot of the classes and the themes that I have already generated. But if you are a first-time user, then all you will see once you are successfully into Teams, these two tiles: create a team or join a team with a code. Okay, all right. So that's how we get into Teams. All right. Any questions so far? Are we okay in getting into Teams? All right, if you have any question, you can type it in the meeting chat, or you can actually unmute yourself and just ask. Okay. All right, clear. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the next thing we need to do is how do we set up our class team? Okay. So the first step in setting up your class team is to click this particular tile, create a team. All right. And when you click that, you will have you will be given 4 choices or 4 types of teams that you can create. All right. So the first type is the class team. Class team, as the name suggests, is for a class. All right. And this is the team that I think that we will be using most. Okay. For each and every one of these type, there are some differences in terms of what you can do or what are the features in the team itself. For example, in the class team, you have a discussion, you have group projects, you have assignment, you have grades, right? Whereas in the professional learning community team, you do not have assignment and grades, because this is meant mostly for professional. If you have, for example, your PhD group or your research group, or across university and stuff like that, you can actually use this professional learning team. So basically, they do not have the feature for assignment and stuff. Yeah. For staff team, again, as the name suggests, is more for school administrator and also development. This is more for maybe the dean using it, with the office staff, those kind of things. So again, the features inside it will be not similar or not same as the class team and the professional learning team. And the last one is the other team. This is an open team. We can use it to actually create students can usually use it in order for them to create study group or something like for clubs to use and stuff like that. So this is more open. You can easily invite people outside of the university to join in. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of team. We are only going to focus on the class team for now, yeah, for this session, yeah. So we need to click on class team. All right, then it will ask you, the first step in creating your team, as soon as you click that time, is for you to name your team. All right, so let's say, for example, I'm going to name my team Fisheries. Fishery 101. Okay, Fishery 101. Right? You can describe it if you want to. What is this team all about? If you are already satisfied with that, then you can just click next. Right? So it will create a team for you. Now the next step is for you to add your students. Okay? If you have not that many students in your class, you may want to add it this way, which is manually putting your student's name in. For example, if I want to find Nizam, I put just a name there, so you can have like the entire Nizam from the entire university. Alright, so it would probably be a little bit time consuming if you want to add this way, if you have more than, like, say 10 students. Right, so I usually do not do it this way. I find another more less stressful way to add students. So you just skip this step. All right, then you will already be you have already successfully set up your class team. Right, once you skip the adding the name step, then it is off. Now you have successfully created the class team, Fishery 101, and this is your first landing page when the team is successfully created. All right, so okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we are going to add some students in. Yeah, so for this exercise this morning, I would like to invite those who would like those who are game to actually join my class, so that when I do assignment and things like that, we can see the effect. Yeah, so how do we add student other than manually? On your landing page, on your first page there, next to Fishery 101, there are 3 dots. Right, click that 3 dots and click Manage Team. Okay. All right, so right now I only have myself as the owner of the team, but there is no member or no guest. Okay, so in order for me to do or to add guests and add members, I go to setting, members channel setting. So I go to setting. All right, now I can go down and there is a tab that is called team code. All right, click team code. And there is a button that says generate. Click generate. It will give you a code that you can actually give to your students so that they can get themselves into your class. All right, so that they will do it themselves, or they will register themselves into your class. All right, so this is the code that we need in order for us to go in. So let me type on the what do you call it, chat box here. For your information, one of the tip in order to do this remote learning is, if you have 2 devices with you, it will be much easier for you to manage. One device, for example, your handphone, you can use it for listening to me or listening to the lecture. And the other device is for you to do the presentation. For us as presenter, I'm using 2 devices now. One is for me to monitor, or from your point of view, all right? And the other one is for me to present. So I can actually participate in the chat. If you look at the list of participants, my name appears twice. One as an owner and the other one as an attendee. So that I can see both. So same thing, if you are conducting your remote learning class, one way to do it is that have your handphone for you to monitor and your laptop or your tablet for you to do the presentation. So that way it's much easier to control your class. Yeah, because once you start sharing your screen, you will not be able to see what's happening. All right, so that's the reason why if you have two devices, it's much easier. Okay, all right, so that is the code that you need to use to enter my class. So I'm going to invite you to do that. And how do you enter? Okay, so you need to go back to the tiles just now. Okay, and go back up here that says join or create a team. All right, now you put that code in, join a team with the code. Right, put the code in here and join the team. You will be joining my Fishery 101 class. All right, so those of you who wants to try, who wants to participate, can please do put the code in here, and we'll see that you will be joining my team. Right, I'll give you 1 minute to do that, and then we will go back to Teams. All right, so let's see if anybody has successfully entered my class. Not yet. Okay, so that is one. That is the second way of inviting people into your class. Yeah, one is manually done when you set up the team itself. Number two is by providing the code to your students so that they can come in on their own into your classes. All right, so that is the second step in creating your class team. All right, so we have created our class team. We have shared the code in order for students to come in into your team. All right, then what else? Okay, so let's take a look at what we can do within this team. What do we mean by it is a teaching and learning hub rather than just a virtual conference kind of apps? Yeah. Okay, Ryan, very slow. All right, it's okay. As we go along, we will just wait. So just try and get into the class. 1 or 2 people will be enough, because later on, when I demo to you the assignment, then you can see what could easily see what are some of the things that can happen in there. All right, but no worries. We'll just take time. All right, and and hopefully by the time we do those activity, some of you will already be in the class. Okay, all right, so what is the difference between using some of those platform that does conferences, virtual conferences, and platform that is similar to Teams, or perhaps the other one that is very close to Teams is Google Classroom. All right, so these two platforms are very similar. All right, as opposed to things like Zoom or WebEx and whatnot. All right, this is from my understanding of feedback that I've gotten from people when I do training like this. Yeah, one of the things about Teams or Google Classroom, for that matter, is that within Teams itself, you are not only able to do your virtual conferencing kind of classes, but you are also able to actually do other asynchronous activity with your students. When we said we want to engage our students during this period, so that they will be kept up to date, so that they will not have something to do because they are not able to come to campus and whatnot. When we talk about engagement, it is not just virtual classroom. Engagement means we can actually give students things to do independently on their own, all right, so that they can continue their learning on their own. All right, that is the difference between those other apps and also things like Teams and also Google Classroom. Because within Teams, you can actually have both the synchronous learning and the asynchronous learning in one place. All right, you do not have to put in 2 different platforms. All right, two different sites where students have to go from one place to the other. Okay, so let's take a look at what that means. Yeah, for example, as soon as you create your class team, as soon as you are successfully in creating your class team, you can log in. you are in my virtual class, right? But you cannot log in into. Have you what do you call it? Have you been given the necessary credential in order for you to log in? You will need to use your UMT email address and also the password. But sometimes you have problems because it may have not been deployed by your IT department. All right. You are logging in into Office 365, right? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you need to check to make sure that you have been given the correct credentials. Sometimes there is a conflict and things like that. Yeah. So for now, perhaps you just watch our demo, right? I'm not able to participate. All right. Okay. So back to this thing. So as soon as you have created your class team, the first thing that comes to your view is this page. This is the default page. This is the default page that you need to that you will be given to. Yeah. So on your left hand side, you see the word general. So this is what we call the general channel. All right. So this is the first default channel that will be given to you, and this is where you can actually start your interaction with your students. Okay. The first thing that you can see down here is the chat box. All right. Start a new conversation. I can start by asking you, how are you guys today? Okay. All right. So that is what you call the first thing, or the first place that you can actually interact. All right. So those people who are in this class, who have successfully joined my class, will be able to actually answer the question. Right. So whoever have come in can answer and can do things. So what else can you do with this chat or the post segment or the post section of your class team? Other than just chatting, chatting can allow you to ask students questions and get them to give you feedback instantaneously. Let's say, for example, even during your lectures, by using the remote learning, you can ask as you lecture, you can ask students, and they can actually type the answer in the chat box, and you can have that kind of interaction. One of the things that is the advantage of this chatting is that it doesn't take up a lot of bandwidth. Therefore, you can actually use this quite a bit. Yeah. So, but what other things can you do in this particular column other than just one-liner chatting? You can also actually add in, if you put the if you click the icon on below the chat line, you have what it says there, format. All right, the first one, if you put your cursor there, it says format. When you click format, it gives you the ability to type lengthy kind of information. Right, so it is exactly like what you have in Microsoft Word. Right, so you can add things in there, and you can actually limit who will be answering this question. All right, those kind of things. All right, so here, other than just one-liner chat, like I said earlier, you can also have people to comment on things in an extended version. All right, so you can have new conversation and you can control it here. You can also post this particular thing to multiple channels. Maybe you have more than one channels. Later on, I'll tell you what channels can, how do you create channel and what it can be used for. You can actually write one note and post it into multiple channels. All right. So that's one thing that is available on the first page of your general channel, which is the post area. Yeah. Other than that, we must only use UMT account, or can we? No. Okay, personal account, you can only listen to my, you can join my my virtual lecture, like what you're seeing now. You are participating, but in order for you to get into this fishery 101 class, you need to have UMT account, right? Because I'm using UMT domain when I created this class. So we need to be in the same domain in order for us to be able to interact in a class session, right? And that's the reason why you and your students will have to have the same, will have to have the same credential within the UMT domain, right? This one you cannot, unless you want to invite them as a guest, but that one will take a lot of what do you call it, technical work. The reason being is that when we use Microsoft Teams or when we use Google Classroom for our remote learning, we want to engage with our students within the class. Yeah, therefore that's the reason why we have, you need to be in the same domain in order for you to actually get into the class itself. Okay, so it has to be, you have to have your UMT account. If you do not have it yet, I think you need to talk to your IT people in order for you to get that. Yeah, there are some, in some cases, there need to be a little bit of tweaking as far as your account is concerned, so that you can be synchronized with your student's account, right? It is no point having just the lecturer account. You need to also have the student's account. Okay, all right. Those of the lecturers who were with me since April, I think they know what to do. Maybe you can also, inform your other friends what needs to be done in order for you to get this Microsoft Office 365 going. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get back to this one. All right. So that now this is another thing. So you can also add, for example, emoji. If you want to give your thumbs up, you want to give smile and things like that, you can do that. You can also add Jiffy, stickers, and all of those. And the next one, if you go to the next icon underneath the chat line, is the icon for that looks like a video camera. All right, and if you put your cursor on it, it says Meet Now. So this is what do you call it? The ability for you to create an instant live classroom. For example, if you see that, when you log in and you saw many of your students in the class are actually online doing their assignment, and you want to actually grab that opportunity, seeing that maybe out of 20 students, you got 18 people now working on the assignment in Teams, and you want to grab that opportunity to talk to them. All right. So what you can do actually is use this Meet Now function to have an instant lecture, an instant live synchronous classroom. Yeah. If you click that, it will launch your video conferencing apps, exactly like what we are doing right now. So this is more of instant kind of thing. All right. So you have your camera and you can start the meeting and things like that. All right. So you can add a name to the subject. Let's say, for example, touch base. Okay. Let's say you see that a lot of students are in the class, so you want to just engage with them. All right. And you click the video icon. All right, then you click Meet Now. It will instantly launch the video conferencing apps for you right there and then. So that means everybody in that class will have access to this video conferencing. Yeah. All right, now let's say you can invite people to join. If there are people already signed into my class just now, then you can actually get those people to join. Okay. What I did with you earlier is that I gave you a link to join. That is what we call a pre-scheduled meeting. All right, that you can actually do using your calendar facility. All right, but this one is something that you can actually use instantly in order for you to get the meeting going. Maybe an unplanned meeting, like I said, if you want, when you log in and you saw your students are working on the assignments that you have given them in Teams, and you saw that there are a lot of people in there, and you just want to grab that opportunity to say hi or to explain or whatever, then you can do an instant meeting right there and then. there is no need for you to go outside of Teams to do that. Right? So that is the use of the Meet Now function in the chat. Okay, so I'm leaving the meeting, and if you look, if we go back to the so wow, good. I have some people in here already. All right, Dr. Hazlina, thank you very much. Okay, all right. So if you look at the general area, when you finish the meeting, it is stated here. So it shows that we had 1 minute 27 second meeting just now. Right, and you can actually rate whether the quality call is good or not, or you based on that particular lecture that you gave, or the 5-minute talk that you gave to your students, you can then post question based on that. In order perhaps to see whether they were listening or not and things like that. You can follow it up by posting question in the chat area, and again you can interact with that. All right, so that's the first thing that you can actually do. Just by looking at this post area, by looking at this chatting facility in Microsoft Teams, you can already have things that you can do to engage with your students. Again, when we talk about engagement, is getting the students to, letting know of, that we are interested in what they are doing and stuff like that, right? Not necessarily just live classroom kind of thing, yeah. Because we know that in our situation, accessibility is a problem, all right? It's a main issue amongst our students. We've got students climbing up trees in order to get internet accessibility and things like that. So we do not want to get them, to put them into that kind of situation. So we use the video conferencing thing only when it is really necessary. Something that you need to actually urgently tell them, or something that you need to explain. When you see that the assignment that they turn in, and you see that there are a lot of misunderstanding and whatnot, and you just want them, to explain or to clarify those misunderstandings, then you use the live meeting. Other than that, I think we can do a lot of the asynchronous mode of learning in order for us to make sure that students are kept engaged throughout this period when they are not able to come to campus. All right. Okay, Alhamdulillah baru berjaya. Thank you. Okay, terkeluar pula dari meeting because I think it is, we are using, but I'm using 2 different domain actually. Not set up this meeting. Tak apa, you just join this class then because we want to do a lot of activity in this class. All right. Okay, so that's the first thing that we can do with Microsoft Teams. Using just the general channel and the post. All right. Now, any question on this one? I want to go slow because I want to actually make sure that at the end of our session today and tomorrow, if you choose to use Teams as a platform for your teaching and learning with your students, you know exactly what to do. All right. Sebelum ni kadang-kadang saya laju, then people don't get anything out of it. Saya tak nak. Gitulah. So if you have any question up to this point, maknanya we have successfully logged into Office 365. If you have problems logging in onto Office 365, please check with your IT people. All right. Once you have logged into Office 365, the next step is to log into Teams. All right. Or to get into Teams. Once you have gotten into Teams, your next step is to create your class, right? Then when you are in your class, the first default that you will get is this general channel. Under this general channel, you got post, what we have just looked at, and what we can do within the post facility or features. All right, already a lot of things can be done in order for us to get engaged with our students. Okay. The next one that we want to look at is files. All right, so this is also available in the general channel. Yeah, when you click files, this is where, as the name suggests, this is where all the files will reside. Anything that you upload, anything that you want your students to see, to do, you can actually upload it here. All right, there are 2 types of files that you can upload. One is class material. If you click this folder, class material, this is where you upload things that is only for students to read. they will not have the opportunity to edit. They will not have the opportunity to upload themselves. No, right? This class folder or the class material file is for you to upload materials that you want students only to read, but not to do anything to it. For example, if you have, like, say, an assignment piece, a description of an assignment that you want just for them to read and not mess around with it, then you upload it in this class folder. All right, so that's the first thing. Yeah, so here it's mentioned there, read only files. Go here, students can read this file, but only teachers can edit. All right, and the lecturers can actually put edit and stuff like that. Right, that's number one. Number two, if you click this new icon here, a new tab, and you click the thing, you will have a drop-down window, a drop-down menu with all the Microsoft apps in Word document, Excel, PowerPoint, and all. All right. So this, if you start a new document, let's say, for example, let's start PowerPoint. All right. Let's say try out session. Right. So I'm going to create this PowerPoint. One good thing about this new document created in Teams is that it is being created using PowerPoint Online. Therefore, you can actually use this as a way for students to collaborate, or for you to get students to do work real time. That means you assign them something to do, they can actually do it within this PowerPoint as we are speaking. So you can see them typing, you can see them making changes and things like that. All right. For those of you who have not used PowerPoint for a long time, there are so many things that PowerPoint has been improved. For example, like now, if you are not into what do you call it, visual that much, you can they will suggest you the designer the designer features in PowerPoint will suggest you how you can actually create your PowerPoint itself. Yeah, so macam-macam dah sekarang ni. Okay, so let's say, for example, this PowerPoint, yeah. Let me insert new slide. Okay, let me put. All right, let's say, for example, slide number 2. I'm going to give who's in my class just now, Dr. Shahir. Right, another, and then I add a new one. Doctor, siapa lagi tadi? Doctor. Let me see who's in here. Dr. Hazlina. Okay, let's say, for example, yeah, I have these 2 students in my class. Let's chat. Let's do some work. Contohlah, brainstorm ke apa ke, however you want to kata it. So now, since these 2 people are in my class, they can actually access this PowerPoint. So they can actually type, and we can see it real time. So this is an area or a place where you can have students collaborating among each other, answering certain things. Let's say, for example, you want to do a brainstorming session with your students, you know, and your students are all online, and you want them to actually put their points onto this PowerPoint, they can actually do that. All right, so this is where we can use the general channel using the Microsoft Office apps to do real-time collaboration between students and teachers, or between students and students. All right, so you need to invite them into the class first lah, and then they can actually do this. Can my students try and access this PowerPoint and try and type something in? Who else is in my class? Because siapa-siapa yang dalam kelas ni yang boleh type in can just access it if you want to. All right. So this is an example of how you can have live engagement without having the virtual classroom, but still it is live, but mostly on what do you call it, using text and whatnot. Therefore, in terms of bandwidth requirement, it is not as high as if we are doing live classroom like this. All right. So these are alternatives that we can use when we want to do live classroom, taking into consideration accessibility problem and things like that. Right. So not necessarily all the time kita kena buat the video conferencing lah. We can actually do, masih lagi boleh do live classroom, but in terms of engagement such as this one, right? So if I close, once I've done, let's say for example, once we have done with the was it in the class, Nika? Oh, I think we will not be able to access it because I put it in here. Sorry. Silap. It should not be in here. It should be in back to the general channel. Sebab tu kalau masuk di dalam folder tu tadi, it is uneditable, kan? So semula. Alright. So we go back and must be outside of the general channel, brainstorm. Outside of that class folder. Lah, tadi tu I put it inside the class material punya folder, therefore you cannot edit. Okay, alright. So now it is outside. So you can say brainstorm. Title is. Right, then you add new. You will add new slide. Again, kita tak perlu ni. Right, you can use it later on. Then insert new slide. Yang ada title and content, because on the title we want to add the student's name. Jadi they know which slide belongs to them. Alright. So again, right, and add another one. Who else is in my class? Yang berjaya masuk. There you go. Okay, Dr. Shahir. Right, got two students. So as you can see, as they type into the onto these slides, their name will appear here. Shahreza Mak Sharif is typing on slide number 1. Dr. Hazlina is typing on slide number 2. So you can actually monitor. And up here also is a list of those people who are working on this particular slide. So it's real time, all right? The only difference is that you do not use your video conferencing thing. Therefore, in terms of bandwidth, it's more manageable. All right, so that is what we meant by using the general channel to get to your students in order for them to do certain things with you online. Right, that is the next the other level of engagement. One level of engagement is like what we're doing right now, is more of you lecturing and them listening, all right, and maybe asking question in the chat session, right? The other kind of level is more of interaction, but getting them to do the work and you monitoring and giving feedback as they come, as they do along, right? Because you can also, let's say for example, if you type something here, I can also give feedback. If I were to this channel, right, I can give feedback and the comment will be attached to this particular slide, all right? Okay, well done. Okay, I like the idea, for example, yeah? Okay, then you can actually send it. Did I see it wrong? Oh, okay. All right. Missing R. All right, there you go. Okay, so that means you can comment students. See, now you see on the side, on the left side of the slide, you have the comment that I just wrote. So it refers to this particular comment. So again, the interaction is there. That's what we want. We want to be able to engage with our students to ensure that whatever that we have asked them to do, they understand what to do. They are doing it correctly. If there are misunderstanding in understanding in doing the project, we can actually make the corrections there, so that they wouldn't go away with something that that is not what we want them to know. All right. So that is the first part of engagement that we can do on the general channel. All right. So once you have done, you can have conversation with them, those kind of things. Yeah. So once we have done with that, we can close. Okay. So this particular slide will always be available in this channel. Right, in this in this files channel, and it is also saved in your OneDrive. Right, if you want to do it. Okay, right. So that's one. Yeah. Number two is you can actually upload things. If you want to upload things that are not editable, you put it in the class material. If you want to upload some things that you want students to edit, then you can actually upload the file here. Similar lah, sama dengan macam biasa. Right? Copy link. You want to give this particular page to your students, you can just give them this link, right? The Microsoft Teams link. They can enter or they can come to this particular place using the link, ya. Tapi kita tak nak lah guna link, kita nak guna tadi tu pakai the code, ya. Students can also download things from this particular page, okay? And one other thing that has been added quite recently, tak dah recent, I think ever since this pandemic thing kind of thing, because we have a lot of we have a lot of feedback saying that I have done Microsoft Teams is something that's very new to me. I've done a lot of work and I've actually stored in Google Drive. So how can I bring the materials in Google Drive into Teams? I do not want to have to copy and then upload it into OneDrive and all kind of things. So they listen to our feedback. And now you can actually integrate your other cloud storage into Teams. So if you have Dropbox, if you have Box, you have ShareFile, and if you have Google Drive, no need for you to actually go away and log out, log in kind of thing. You can put your Google Drive in here. All right. So you can actually add it here, or you can actually also add it, create another channel and add specifically for Google Drive. But the possibility or the ability to do this integration, I think, has helped a lot of people, because you can import your Google Drive into Teams. All right, there are two ways of doing it. You can have individual folder. You do not want to have like the entire Google Drive in here. If you looking at, like, say for example, this one particular class, Fishery 101. Maybe you just want to import the folder that is related to Fishery 101 that you want your students to have access to. All right. So you can choose whichever folder and import it inside. All right. Let's say, for example, I want to import just this folder. Okay. That folder. Okay. So all right, so now if I were to click this, it will give it will bring me to my this one is inclusive of all, which means that I am adding my my Google Drive into Teams. All right, so that's one way that you can add. Yeah, so again, this is an integration that is welcomed by a lot of people, because then you do not have to copy and upload and things like that. So you can add, if you have Dropbox, you can also add your Dropbox to it, so that you can get access to your Dropbox when you are using when you want to use materials from your Dropbox into Teams. All right, so that's basically what you can do when you look at files here. So everything will be stored in this file area of your Teams page, of your class Teams. Okay, and physically it will be stored in your those that are not, that doesn't belong to the other storage will be stored in your OneDrive, right? So you can also get access to that OneDrive. All right. So far we have looked at post area. All right. Like we said earlier, in the post area there are already a lot of things that you can actually do. Okay. In terms of getting or engaging with your students. All right. Then we have looked at files, what we can do within files section or file features of Teams. One, you can upload a class material material that are not editable by students just for reading purposes. Number two, you can add files that you can allow your students to actually work on it real time. All right. Number three, you can add additional cloud storage onto your files. Right. So these are the three things that can be done now using Microsoft Teams. Okay. Questions so far? Anything that you need me to go back or any to repeat and things like that? If okay. Yeah, Encik Arifin was the one who did it the last time. So far, okay. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Next is, I do not want to touch class notebook today. Class notebook I will do tomorrow because it's more involved, right? But I want to just go into assignment. This is another feature that I think will be used a lot by lecturers in order to get the students to do some work. Yeah. So we're going to look at assignment. Okay, this is also this particular part. I would really like to what do you call it? Ask those students, those who have successfully entered my class, to participate with me because I need to show you some things. Yeah. So when you click assignment, nothing in here yet, so you need to click just get started. All right. So there, and then you need to create this create button here. No assignment yet, create button. And there are two types of kind of work that you can give to your students. One is assignment in terms of maybe writing or answering questions or whatever. And the other one is in the form of quiz, pop quiz, those multiple choice questions and things like that. And if you have already done the assignment, you can upload it from your existing document. All right. Or if not, then you can create. So let's create a new one. Okay. So it will give you this particular template. Let's title the assignment, which is reflection on yesterday's webinar. Let's say, for example, you assign them to watch a webinar on YouTube or something. All right. Or you assign them a video to watch. Look at the video lah, yesterday's video. Okay. And if you have a category that you categorize it, then you can put that. Then you want to write an instruction, clear instruction of what to do. Write 2 main points from the video. Okay. Then you need to add resources. Add resources here means if you have a template that you want them to answer with. Yeah. If you have a set things that you want to answer with, or you just want to give them something that everybody will be sending in the same format. All right. So you can add resources here. Okay, so this resource can come from, if you have already something written up and you stored it in your OneDrive, you can take it from your OneDrive, or you can, provide them with a link. They can go to the link and then fill in the form in the link or whatever, or you can upload from your device. Let's say, for example, you already have done it and it is on your laptop and you want to use that, you can just upload that from your device, or you can create new. Okay, I'm going to create new, and I'm going to just put a Word document. reflection on the video. Right, and I can say okay, then if let's say for example, if you already have a table or whatever, you can actually put it there, and we can attach the template, the answering things for your students. By default, it says your students cannot edit, but if students cannot edit, then it is no point putting it here, right? So what you need to do is go to the end, the 3 dots here. You can change the status to students edit their own copy. So that means once we assign this assignment to the students, each and every one of the students in your class will get a copy to work on. All right. Then you can advise them that you want them to work on in Teams. You do not, they do not need to open Word document and whatnot. Just answer in Teams itself. So no need for them to download or whatever. All right. So we're gonna say student edit their own copy. All right. Once that is done, if you want to add some points. All right, let's say points, 20 points, okay? Or you can also add a rubric. Rubric means your marking scheme. What do you want to see in this reflection? If I were to get the full points, 20 points, what are the things that I need to have in here, right? So if you have a rubric, you can add rubrics by using an existing rubric that you have. For example, like here I have done this April 5th when I did the first group. I have already a writing rubric, or you can add a new rubric. You can upload rubric from your device. For example, you have a rubric already that you have done, then you can upload that and put it in. All right, let's say for example, I'm just using this rubric right here, attach this to it. I still want my points to be there, so that means the 20 points will be there. So excellent, meaning that the description of the rubric, yeah, writing rubric, original idea in writing, will support those kind of things lah. So this usually we can get if we have it already, or we can actually get it from the internet lah, sample of rubrics that you can use. All right, evenly distributed weight, meaning that all have the same kind of points, yeah. Okay, then once it is done, you can attach the rubrics to the assignment. Okay, so now we have fishery 101 students assigned to fishery 101 students, all students, or do we want to assign to specific students? Let's see how many students I have in the class. Oh, no students. Did I not get people in there just now? All right, never mind. All right, so again, you can actually the due date, you can change the due date. By default it is the next day. All right, by default it is the next day, but if you want to say, let's say for example, you are doing an online class, and then the class is about like say 1 hour or 2 hours, and you want this reflection to be done half an hour before your class end, so you can just change the date to today's date, and you can just give the time accordingly. All right, what time do you want it? Let's say for example, you want to see the assignment at 11 a.m. immediately after we finish the class. So, okay, right, or 11:30 or whatever. Okay, or if, for example, you want to create this assignment and you do not want to post it immediately, you want to post it maybe tomorrow. All right, then you can actually edit the assignment timeline. All right, and you can post, change the post dates, and then change the time. Okay, and the due date is still the same. All right, so that is how you can actually edit the timeline, or the post date, and also the due date of your assignment. So once this is all done, right, you can assign. Okay, once it is successful, it will appear. There you go. It will appear in the general channel. All right. So if we go back to the general channel just now. Okay. So those people who are in the class, can I ask a favor and do the assignment for me? Just click on the assignment, and just type a few words. You know, doesn't have to answer the question at all. Just type a few words so that we can, and then turn in. All right, to just show you what happens when you assign the students an assignment. You know, okay, and you know what happens after that. All right, whoever is in the class, just open the assignment, answer it, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, if you look, once you have actually done the assignment and you click back the assignment, I haven't been added to the assignment. Okay, nobody was added. It's supposed to be 5 people here. All right, it's supposed to be 5 people in the, is assigned to all, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and it says here, this is where you can actually do the tracking of your assignment. Once you have created the assignment, based on the number of students in the class, there you will see, right now we have 5 students in that class. Oh, nobody got the assignment. Oops. Why did this say 5? Let me go back and check on the assignment. Edit assignment. Let's see. Oh, I think you were not inside the assigned to. Okay. All right. Let's see if that happens. Okay. Now we got 20 people. Can you check if you, oh, sorry. Yeah, the 5 people are in already. See the name there? Just now I did not click the right, what do you call it, the right icon. So if you go back to the assignment place, you will see the name of the students in your class, and you will see the status. At the moment, yeah, got it. Great. All right, at the moment, nobody has turned in yet. This is where you can actually do the tracking. All right, so this is something that I think those, you know, facilities like or apps like Zoom do not have. This is more for us educators to actually do all the stuff within one stop center, one hub. Yeah, so you can actually give the assignment. So once the students have answered the question, the status will change, whether not turned in and things like that. So let's give them a minute to do that, and we'll come back and check on the status of that. But meantime, anybody has any question? Okay, one person has turned in. So once the students has turned in, what you can do, who has turned in? Okay, I can actually click on this assignment, all right, and I can already give feedback. All right, just now we gave them the Word document to write in. All right, no, nothing is written. It's okay. All right, but then what happened is that when you click, once the student has turned in, When you click on it, then the lecturer can come in, do whatever that needs to be edited and whatnot. Then you can give feedback. Try again, right? With more points, for example. Then you can sorry, right? But you still want to give them points. You want to return to the students, yeah? You just say, for example, you give them 50%, all right? And return, right? And you can actually close this. So you have given the feedback to the students. They should be able to get the feedback. And when you close this, when you go back to the assignment page, the name, that person's name is not there, but it's under graded. So it's already graded and written. And the students can come in and take a look at the feedback that you have written and whatnot. Okay, and let's see if anybody else have actually answered the. Only one person turned in. Okay, all right. Then if you go to grades, all right. So here is a list of the assignment that you have given your students, and you see that the first assignment here, reflection on yesterday's video, 2 people have signed in, have already turned in. 1 person has viewed, 1 person have not done anything, and 1 person has already been graded and given the points. All right, so I can go back to this one, and I can open student work. I can check out on the work that was done. All right. Okay. All right. Then I say great. Great job. I'm sure there are other things that you will write in the feedback actually, right? But this is just still right here because done properly. I give them 18 points and I return. Right. So everything is done within Teams itself. You give them the assignment for them to, again, engagement purposes. We give them assignments for them to actually do some reflection, write up some things, then you can actually just assign it in Teams itself. They can do it on their time within the period that we allow them to do, so that, if they have problem in terms of device sharing and things like that, they won't be stressed out that they have to do it right there and then. Right, so you give them, let's say, for example, 12 hours period. I'm sure they will, work it out with the siblings so that they can actually get the device for them to answer and do the assignment. So this is an example of what we meant by remote learning engagement. Yeah, there are things that we need to consider and stuff. Yeah. So again, I think I've mentioned this before. Again, inside this assignment itself, you have the immersive reader embedded in here. So if the students do not understand, the instructions that you give them in the template that you have provided them with, then you can actually use the immersive reader to help them read and understand the instructions given. All right. So, for example, if I'm since there are more than one line here, so I'm going to just show to you what the immersive reader can do. Immersive reader is a reading tool that can help students, especially those with challenges, like if you have for example, eyesight problem, you don't see that clearly, this whole thing can be read to them, so that they can still answer the question, or they are able to understand the question, even though they have that disability. So each and everyone will be read at one point of time. All right, so you can try this out later on when you open that one. Yeah, reading references. Okay, there is a picture dictionary. They can read by line, focus by line, for example. And if they don't understand the meaning of the word, they can click onto the word, and a definition of the word and how it is being pronounced is also made available. So this, again, a tool that is not found anywhere else other than Microsoft's apps, in order to help students. Yeah, this is more for inclusivity. For students who have learning problem, will also be given an equal opportunity to actually do the assignment. Some students, they don't fare very well in a class, not because they do not know the material, but sometimes because they don't understand our instruction, maybe because the instruction was in another language and those kind of things. So this actually can actually help them. And once you have done all, everybody has turned in, and you need a copy to be sent to HEA or whatnot, you can actually export in Excel. And once you exported it in Excel, you can actually upload it to other system. All right, because they usually have those integration kind of thing that you can actually do. So this is what we can do with the assignments in Microsoft Teams. Yeah, you can create the assignment. You can put in the grades. I mean, it will, once you have already marked the question, and you can grade it within Microsoft Teams itself, and everything will be recorded. So tracking system is already in here. To me, Microsoft Teams is a little bit lower than any LMS. LMS, you got the giant tracking system for the courses that is completed and whatnot. But this one, for individual classwork, I think the tracking system in Microsoft Teams is already good enough for us to be able to do the work accordingly. Right? So that's basically what you can actually do in the general channel itself. Tu tak di mana lagi tu? Right? Just di dalam general channel. So you can do posting, you can do a lot of interaction in posting itself. You can actually do collaboration through files. You can do assignments. Assignments tadi we look at, there are two types of assignments that you can do. One is written pieces or reading pieces or whatever that you want to assign your students to do. All right? And the other one is quizzes. All right? If you want to do quiz, again, they will ask you whether you want to do from existing quizzes that you have, or if you want to do a new one. For quizzes, Microsoft Teams will bring you to Microsoft Forms. Again, you do not need to go out and go to this landing page of menu to get the forms. They will just take you there. All right. You may need to sign in one more time, but most of the time, if you are already using it more than once, there is no need for signing in. But if you are a first-time user, they may need you to actually sign in another time, right? But it will load you, and you go to sign in this document, right? So I am already signed in using UMT's account. All right. Can you show how to create assignments for specific students, for example, 2 only? Okay, if you want to give assignment to specific students, at the point of assignment just now, you don't assign to all. You assign to just those students that you want to assign to. Let's do this with this one, yeah? Okay, let's say, for example, Microsoft Forms, if you are familiar with Google Forms, it is the same thing. Yeah, both of them, these giants are actually trying to outwit each other, which is good for us, as the user. All right. So here you got two types of forms that you can do. One is new form, which is mostly survey, and the other one is quiz. So we're going to look at the quiz. All right. We're going to title the quiz COVID-19. Okay, please answer all questions. Okay, if you want to add a graphic to it, you can just use the Bing search coronavirus. Or you can upload pictures from your OneDrive or from your device, right? So let's say, for example, just to give them what you call Q. Okay, we're talking about this virus, not Corona, the beer, right? So you put the picture there in order to make sure that the students have some verbal cue to hang on to in order to answer the question. All right. So now you can add new questions. So type of questions, these are to me, these quizzes is more for comprehension type, comprehension check type quizzes, not for like exit exam. Yeah, so this is like pop quiz, right? So you have whether you want to use Microsoft, your multiple choice, or we want to use text, ratings, and stuff like that. So let's just use simple simple multiple choice question. Yeah. For example, where did this COVID-19 start? Okay, we can say USA, say China, say adoption, Malaysia, and we can say UAE. All right, so we want them to, this is a required question and this is the correct answer. You can add feedback if you want to, all right, and whatever lah. All right, so when you view it, this is how it's going to look like when you preview. All right, so this is what the question is going to look like on a computer, and this is how it's going to look like on a mobile. And if you look at this one, if you look here, there you go, the immersive reader icon is here. So that means this question is, this test is also, the Microsoft Form also embed immersive reader in it in order to help students read the question and answer the question, or understand the question, so that they can answer it correct. All right, so in most, in all of the our normal production tools, the Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Forms, Excel is already embedded with immersive reader for the sake of those students who have issues in terms of reading or things like that, right? So that is there. So, all right, so once you are done, okay, you can just close the Microsoft Forms. Let's see, just one question, close the Microsoft Form. Then when you come back here, when you want to create quiz, okay, so I got my COVID-19 done, and I will click next. Okay, so here again, if there is a category, you want to add that. If you want to add instruction, just say that, answer all question. Okay, and you have COVID-19. All right. Okay, I need to do that. They will open in Teams. So, okay, here, if you want to assign to specific student, you just click that all assigned student, and you just give or mark the people that you want to give it to. Not all students. Yeah, so you can say, okay, I want to give it to one, and I want to give it to Teniza, all right, and Dr. Hazlina. Okay, all right, so that those are the people that will get the quiz. So not everybody. Yeah, only 3 students. Okay, same thing, you have to edit the date due. Let's say, for example, I want it to be due just now, and the time is in 10 minutes, or half an hour. All right, so can click the, okay, sorry. Now is 10:30, so I want it to be 11 a.m. right, in half an hour time. Okay, all right, so done that. Okay, done. Then we assign. Okay, so in this situation, the students have like half an hour to answer the question. So this is something that, again, interactivity wise, you can add it to your lecture or to your online engagement for them to actually answer the question right in there. All right, so again, in the assignment page, we already have two. We have already 2 type of assignment. We got the reflection one, and we got the quiz, COVID-19 quiz. All right, and once it is done, it will appear in the general channel as usual for the students to actually have access to. But for this one, only the 3 students will get. All right, so not everyone will get the assignment. All right, so let's see. All right, so not everybody will see. It doesn't appear in the general channel as is, because I think it will only appear on the 3 students thing. Right, so let's take a look. Those that I have given, You see three out of three have already turned in. Then I can go in here and I can check on their status. Right, so all of them has turned in. This is a quiz, so no need to give feedback. So I go to grades. Oh, I did not give a point just now, right? Terlupa nak letak point. So kalau jawab pun tak ada point. 0 point. Okay, but turn in. As you can see here, you gave to 3 students. The 3 students all turn in. Then I can actually give feedback lah. All right, open students work. Okay, review. Okay, there you go. Score. All right, no points given because 0 points. Then you can say here, score 100%. You can give the feedback. Great job. Okay. And all right, so once you have done that, oops, all right. Okay, so I've given feedback and actually then we can go to grades. So the students can, it's a summary of all the thing there. All right. So again, because there was no point assigned to it, so it's okay lah. Just turn in, and you can actually give feedback there. All right. So that's what we meant by assignment. So assignment can be given to all the students or can be assigned to just a few students. Okay. So that are the things that you can actually do just in the general channel. Right. As soon as you create a class, you are given this general channel and you have all these activities that's already available to you to do with your students. May I know how will these specific students know that if they will receive an announcement on their own page. All right. If we assign to all, the announcement will appear in the general channel. All right. If just specific students, they will actually receive it on their own tab, right? That they have been given that assignments. Betul tak yang terima 3 tu? How did you know that you got the assignment? Can you help? Can you answer in the chat area there? Look at the assignment session, and you got your name given onto it. Yeah. Got through notification, yes. Right, so either by notification or by looking at the assignment channel. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is just on the first page. Now, there are things that you can also add to this channel. All right, let's say, for example, you have a class of like 25 people and you have like, you want to divide the classes into different groups so that you can actually give them things to do. What you can also do is you can add channel to your class. All right, adding channel, it's up to you how you want to organize. I have people that says that, they use the channel features in order to actually divide the class into weeks of teaching. Let's say, for example, you have 14 weeks in the semester. You add channel based on week 1, week 2, all the way to week 14. So in week 1 channel, you only put things that are related to week 1, all the assignments, all the reading materials and things like that, right? And the students interact in week 1 based on whatever information that you give them on week 1. Some people use channel to divide students into groups. Some people call it breakout rooms or whatever, yeah. But they want to actually divide people into groups, right? Let's do that, yeah. Let's do that adding channel for group purposes, right? So channel number 1, let me say group 1. All right. And you can add the description of group 1, whatever, how you want to describe it. Okay, this group will focus on the raw materials. Let's say we're doing a project on something, this group will focus on raw materials. Okay, all right. Now, if you want to divide it into groups, into different groups, then you have a choice of whether to make the group accessible to everyone on the team, or you just want to make the group accessible to the group member. Let's say just now you got 25 people in your class and you want to divide it into 5 groups of 5. Therefore, for this channel, you want only the 5 people in that group accessing it, not everybody, right? If everybody, you can put everything in the general channel, but for the group thing, you just want to do that. So I want to privatize the group, or give privacy to the group, and not privatize, give privacy to the group by making it just accessible to people in the group. All right, now I can add students to this group. All right. And I can add more lah. For example, I add Dr. Hazlina aja seorang dulu ya. Siapa lagi ada tadi? Students in my group. Okay, so I add, done. So kalau in this situation, because you are creating a group of 5, tak ramai sangat people, then you can actually add manually. Again, if you have a lot of people and you're dividing like one group, you have like 10 students and got 10 groups to create, then you still use the way of adding it using your code, right? So each channel will have their own code that you can give to your students. So here, group 1, you got manage channel. All right, and I see, and since I have added 2, Dr. Shahir and Dr. Hazlina, so they are now members in this particular channel. So everything that I want this group to have, I will just upload it in this channel. All right, so here you can post, sama juga, you can actually post a conversation. You can still do your live class with these people in this group. Maybe you want to just give instruction to them and you do not need the other groups to listen to your instruction or the assignment that you're giving them. You can create a Meet Now session just within this channel itself. All right. Same thing with files. All right. You can upload files here just meant for this particular group. For example, reading things that you want to upload. All right. You can upload it here for if it is read only, you can put it in here, but read only is usually for everybody to see. But for this particular group, there are things that you want them to read, then maybe you just put it up here. All right. Same thing as your new, if you want to do a collaborative thing with them, or if you want them to do, the 5 of them to do a collaborative work online, real time, then you can also add something that like what we added in the general group just now. So the same thing, whatever that you can do in the general group can also happen in the group channel. All right. But as you can see, when you created a channel, the facility or the features up here is now limited to only posts and files, right? Because all these others, usually it is meant for example, the assignment, the grades and whatnot, it is meant for the entire class to be able to access. All right. But later on, when you do the assignment and the quizzes, you can also actually assign it to a specific channel. And just now we assigned it to a specific student. Now that we have channels that we created, you can also assign it to a specific channel. Right? So that is what channel is for. Channel can be used to create groups within your class, or can also be used to organize your whole semester of class by maybe dividing it into topics or dividing it into weeks, or however you want to do it. And there you can actually create at least 100 channels per team. So you can have both. You can use channels to create group, and you can also use channels to create to organize your class materials based on weeks or however you want to actually create it with. All right. So those are this is what channel is all about. Any questions so far on channels? Yes, you need to be in the class in order for you to get notification and things on activities that we are doing in Teams. All right. If you are not in the class, like say for example, now you are in my class, then whatever that I assign to you, you should be able to get it. All right. Let's see, for example, if we were to look back at the assignments, I think now we have more than 5 people dah lah, kalau ada lebih pada 5 yang masuk kan. Channel similar to breakout rooms in Zoom. Yeah, it is similar, but this one, I think you have more things that you can actually do in the channel within Teams. You can, like say for example, just now you have, I'm not too familiar with Zoom. I've only used Zoom for online meetings, but have not actually explored the other facilities. But I think for Zoom, if you upload things and whatnot, I'm not sure whether it is stored for you. But this one, actually, everything that you do in here, it is stored in your OneDrive or in SharePoint. All right, so it will not be lost even if you close and you log out and you log back in. All right. Oh, masih 5 lagi. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the general channel and how to create other channels in order for you to be able to use Microsoft Teams with more than by breaking people into groups, or by breaking your class into different weeks and things like that. Right? Again, it is up to you on how you want to add things to stuff. Yeah. Notification will not be sent through email. No. Notification is within the Teams itself. It will not be sent to your email. All right. It can appear on the chat, on the activity that you have on your left-hand side. You have those icons there. I think sometimes it also appear in the activity things there, right? Okay. All right. So if there is everything okay, no question, I'm going to stop right there in terms of the sharing. All right. But because tomorrow we have another session. Tomorrow I will work with you on class notebook. Class notebook is something like assignment, but it is more involved, because in class notebook you have a section, a place where students can collaborate right there and then. Like here just now we introduced PowerPoint in order for us to get the students to collaborate online. But in class notebook, there is a section that students can collaborate and upload things and whatnot. And the same thing, you can actually grade your students' work. You can actually written assignment and things like that. It's just that it is a little bit more involved than assignment and grades. Assignment and grade ni one off. You can do the assignment and you give them the grades and kata senarai all your assignments. Whereas in a class notebook, there are other things that you can actually do in the class notebook with your students. You can do inking. Kalau you have device that you can write on, you have Surface ke, you have iPad ke and whatnot, then you can actually do inking dan sebagainya lah in the class notebook. Class notebook ni is a version of OneNote that has been embedded into Teams in order to make it much easier for people to actually do work with the students. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to look at class notebook, and I will also introduce other third-party apps that you can use in order to maybe add a means of evaluation. Okay, for example, Flipgrid, for example, Kahoot, how you can actually import and put it inside Teams itself. So if you want to play Kahoot, I'm sure Kahoot is something that people are very familiar with, but you do not need to go out and log in into Kahoot and whatnot. You can play Kahoot from Teams itself. Right? So those are some of the things we can actually do again. Can you explain again why you need to have 2 gadgets to perform? Okay, reason being, because once you share your screen on your presentation device, you will not be able to see what's going on at the back. Yeah, so I use 2 devices because one, I am attending as an attendee, meaning that I see what you see. Right? and the other one is I'm using it for my presentation, right? So that's the reason why I can actually answer your chat and whatnot, because I'm using that other device to interact with you, and my other device is meant for just presentation, right? The other device for you to monitor, you can just use your smartphone. You only need to see what's going on, so that if there are questions like this in the meeting chat, I can actually read and answer. All right. Or else I will be blind of what's happening on your side. Okay, because once you share your screen, you won't be able to see that. Right. That is the reason why the two devices is not necessary. I mean, if you do not need to interact, and then it's not necessary for you to have the two devices. All right. But if you do need that, then you will be able to actually do the thing together. Okay. All right. So just to before we end, as usual. Okay. I just need your assistance to fill up this form for today's session, of feedback for me. Just for today's session, and then tomorrow's session maybe we do, or maybe not. Tomorrow is at 10 to 12. Yeah. Again, if you are free, do come and join me. Like I said, we are going to look at class notebook, and if we have time, I do want to introduce to you also OneNote. OneNote is something that is very, to me, when I discovered OneNote, it actually helps me a lot in terms of managing my files, my materials and things like that, because you can put everything that you have, not only your work kind of thing, your personal stuff also, into the OneNote notebook, and it is stored in the cloud. All right. Therefore, if anything happens to your device, things like that, your data is safe. I remember when I was studying, you need to bring your disc everywhere you go, so that you are afraid that your room will burn down or something like that, and you will lose everything that you worked for the last 4 years. But then once you bring it, you have it with you. If your backpack is stolen, also gone. All right. So now the cloud storage is actually a very convenient thing. Always remember to back up your stuff into your cloud storage, so that when anything happen to your physical device, you still have your work safe somewhere. Yeah. If you are using Google Drive, you can save it. And now that you have Office 365, OneDrive is 1 terabyte each. If you have more than that, they will give you another terabyte free. All right. Okay. And you can you can feel safe a little bit lah, because you actually have it stored somewhere that nobody can get to, except yourself, right? Okay, so I hope you have done that feedback feedback forms. Again, it's very easy. This feedback form is created by my team. As you can see, those who have attended my session before, I have always given you the Microsoft feedback form. No, this is actually the Trainer Hand one is based on my own team's work. Because one of the things that I do, that I always ask my team to do, is I need something to help me in terms of my teaching and learning situation. So so we do a lot of little apps to help educators manage their teaching and learning more efficiently and more effectively. Okay, so we stop here today, and before I do that, let me. Okay, so again, if you are free tomorrow, please do come and join me for another session, for another 2 hours of this, so that we can add other things to it. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. And stop the recording as well. Stop recording. Okay. You leave campus to go and do presentation and whatnot, you can still do your